Good morning, guys. It's June 30th, Friday. I'm Michael Smith. I gotta be quick because I think the sprinklers are gonna come on. I want to make this location, and as soon as I got here, the sprinklers came on, so I gotta be a little quick. No more doom and gloom. That part's over, and that's what I want to kind of go over today. I did want to delete, and if it's windy in the microphone, I'm sorry. I keep getting cursed with wind lately, but I wanted to cover like I was gonna delete those videos, but then I thought I can't. Like I have to let you guys into the darker half and not just only the lighter half, because that's everybody. That's our entire life. Like, we are surrounded by trials and tribulations. So I can't remove them. It's a learning thing. So that's what I'm all about. Another thing is, when I went into this, I kind of went in with the understanding that I need to go 24/7. Doesn't matter when, doesn't matter how. I was trying to prepare myself when I got started into these videos that no matter what the outcome, I was supposed to prevail. Like, I was supposed to come through for you guys. So that's what I'm trying. So in that regard, I was going to start off with a couple stories real quick. One of the stories that I have to talk about is about a pail, two pails, and a girl. And you may have came across it online. It stuck with me. It was just one of those good stories that I enjoyed. But it comes back. All right, so the pail, one is real shiny and new and clean, and the other one is rusty and old and has a couple holes in it. And this village where this little girl has to go fetch water has to use these two pails. That's the only two pails there are. So she throws them on a stick, hoists them over her shoulders, and she starts going down to the area where the water's at. So she walks down, gets the water, fetches the water with the pails. The brand shiny new one stays filled to the top, and the other one is always at a steady drip and just losing a little bit and a little bit at a time, just constantly dripping. All the way back up the hill, all the way back through the village, and by the time they get back, it's only halfway filled, and the other shiny new pail is all the way filled. Well, this goes on for some time, for quite some time, and finally it comes to a breaking point where the old broken down pail is not feeling good anymore, and it's, you know, it's only wanting to complain about life and everything that it has to offer, and it has nothing to offer, and, you know, it wants to soak in its misery, basically. So when the pail explains this to the little girl, because this is an animated world, right? The girl says, "Come with me one more time and pay attention to the water we get." So they go back down the way, they get the water, everything's the same as it was before. They get back to the top, and the pail says, you know, what's the difference? I'm still half empty, the new one's still new. And the little girl tells her, or tells the pail, "I've been planting seeds the entire way along, knowing that you have this leak. So with these seeds, as they walk through the valley or whatever this village is at, there's all this wildlife, plant life growing. Roses and sunflowers and flowers and daisies." And the girl tells the pail that, knowing her flaws, she planted all these seeds along the walkway so that the pail could water those seeds and it would be there for beauty for everybody to enjoy. So in the hindsight of it, it's like all your flaws have something positive to offer you without you even realizing. Just like in the Chinese culture, you know, they don't take out or they don't throw away plates, you know, like as far as Chinaware. They don't throw these plates away if they have any cracks or dents or dings. What they do is they fill them with gold, and they use that gold as the filler because they believe the blemishes are what make the item unique. So whatever blemishes or whatever faults you may have, unfortunately, that is a unique identifier to you, and it is also an overcomer. Like, we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be the people we are today without the trials and tribulations that we have to overcome. So with that being said, another thing I wanted to cover was, why do I feel like I'm eligible to be doing these videos? I mean, not only for the knowledge, but for the things I've had to overcome, I guess. And there's been tons of them. I mean, I've had to overcome, let's do it in order. I've had to overcome cannabis at one point because of the court systems. I've had to overcome meth. I've had to overcome coke. I've had to overcome alcohol. I've had to overcome death. There's so many different lows that I've been in that I can't explain to you how many there are. Like, there's so many that I've had to overcome it's made me such a strong person, I can't emphasize it. And it's through those learnings that have perfected or molded all the things that I am now happy with, which took a long time to get there. Like, don't get me wrong, we feel so victimized and we always want to call ourselves the victim, but in reality, we are creating that victimization. We set that in motion, that we are the victim, because anybody can take the glass half full or the glass half empty, and anybody is going to provide the reality that they see fit. Because if you feel everything is happening to you, then that's what's going to happen. Is you feel like you're the victim, everything's happening to you, you have no control over everything. Another way to look at it is, if you have no control over anything, then why do you let it get to you? You just have to be able to deal with the motions of the ocean. So one of the ways that I can overcome this is that I go through and I will make myself new possibilities. And I don't try to worry about the past of what's angering me or what's getting me upset, but I go through with the new possibilities. Stepping forward, just taking that first step forward and not even paying attention to where I'm gonna go, how I'm gonna get there. Because honestly, guys, I was ready to go cross country. I really foresaw my future going and just going with the wind at that point, just because I felt so glum. So when I was saying I was gonna take a hiatus, I literally was like, I was ready to go venture off and journey. And it just so happened that all these locations I ended up being at would give me these one random spots of signal, and so I wanted to be able to supply you guys, because another thing that I wanted to do in these videos was give you guys Arizona scenes. Like, I wanted to be able to make it pleasurable in the background, like as far as items to look at. So it was like I was being given these spots on purpose, in a sense, almost like, you need to do these videos. Like, I was like being confronted by spirit or energy or whatever you want to consider it. And it was non-stop. Like, even at the Buddhist temple, I was confronted with the raven. I have a video where I was discussing it because I didn't get them on camera, but there was 2 black butterflies that were on camera right after, so I took that as another symbol. But the raven has forever been it's like a spirit guide in a way. And this all sounds crazy, and one of the other topics I wanted to bring up was like why symbols work. So I was going through my mind, and today, like, as far as like a logical, structured version of what I want to provide to you guys was numbers and why they work. But instead of doing that, I want to explain a little bit why I feel symbols work, period. Because in a world of science, everything is randomosity. There is no coordination, there's no purpose, it's all just a big happenstance to gamble. And that's became my, in a way, disgust with science, is because, don't get me wrong, there's factual, literal things in science, but other things, it takes out the magical aspects out of it, everything. And one of the main thoughts or ideas behind this is that I discussed with you guys before, that everything is conscious, everything is aware, everything is present. It could be something as simple as a rock, it could be something as simple as a bird, it could be something as simple as metal. It could be something that's completely inanimate, but you feel it has no conscience. But in reality, in my world, in my mind, every single thing is letting off a vibe or a frequency or a hertz of energy. And same for our mind. Nice hummingbird. Same for our mind, is doing the exact same thing. It's not only emitting, but it's receiving. We're basically routers, walking routers, and every single thing. And that's the other half of it, is we believe that only other routers are able to communicate with our router. But in reality, every single thing is a router, like from a rock to a grass to the dirt to the tree to the leaves to the animals. Everything is a router emitting this frequency. Now you have your form of gift, which is intuition, which allows you to access things that you probably couldn't have before if you seek it out. But the only other explanation is that everything is emitting a signal, and your brain is telling you what signals that it needs to receive at the moments it needs to receive it. So it sends it to you in those moments through inner intuition, but it's all based off of the signals that it senses around it. So if it knows you're in a low point, if it knows you're in this this mode. I mean, not only are we as people able to read that off of each other and that we can supply each other with the support that we need, which everybody did in my case, so to those who did, thank you, I appreciate it. But in every outcome, there's always signals being sent and received, and our intuition is the only thing that allows us to distinguish those signals. So when you're having low points or whatever the points may be, even if it's meant to be awakening points, these signals are always being emitted, and your brain knows what order you need to receive these signals in, so it'll tell you how to receive these signals. Now, as I'm up here talking, like, this is crazy because I wanted to do these videos for the purpose of boosting my confidence, to gain a library of information, so that way I can actually document things in a documentary, chopped up, edited, and I have all my own videos to be able to base it off of. So that's what my goal is through all this madness, through the chaos. There's a method to the madness is what I'm trying to say. And that's my case every time. No matter what I go into, I always go into it as a jumbled mess, and I kind of sort it out as I'm going through it, but at least I took that step forward to go through it. Now, other people may create structure, they may create ideas and concepts and then write scripts and then go through this whole process, but that's not what I'm trying to accomplish. If I'm trying to accomplish something that's in the form of naturality, I don't know how to say that word, but I do Smithisms. I make a lot of words up, so if I do that with you guys, I apologize, but it's just one of the things I do. One of many services I offer. So I'm definitely apologetic for bringing you guys into that doom and gloom circle, and like I said, I wanted to delete it, but I don't want to delete it because every student has to see that the teacher has their moments too, because in this weird world we live in, we have this idea that those who are there to teach us are like in these perfect bubbles, and because like the Christ or the Buddha or whoever it may be, we create these ideas of these archetypes of these people that they're supposed to be in this perfect little bubble, but in reality all these different individuals have the same emotions, all the same patterns, all the same thought waves, and it's all the same outcomes. Like, the only difference is how you get back up, because you can either decide to take all that doom and gloom and just marinate in it, soak in it, just be in it, or you can take it as something building you up, giving you strength, giving you power, making you another thing to accomplish or to come over. And that's the way I take at things. Another little quick side note on how to get over things when you're in those moments is never stay bored. Stay busy. Doesn't matter what that busy is on. It could be on something you love, it could be something that's new. It doesn't matter, just stay busy, because boredom is going to be your worst enemy. Now, I learned this with all my drug addictions, that boredom is going to be what kills you. It's going to be what makes you wanting to go back into those habits. And if you're aware of this, it becomes a lot easier to accomplish. But if you're not, then it's kind of like walking in the dark, trying to feel your way around, and things can get complicated, and you can get more misery because you're lost and confused and you don't know what's going on. But if you know that you have this one situation that you're trying to attack, or it's attacking you, you may feel, just go forward. It doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter what. Like, because the one thing that gained my composure back was the Buddhist monk. And it had nothing to do with what he said. It had nothing to do with, I mean, maybe there was some vibes there that got rubbed off on me. I'm not sure. But it had everything to do with the simple fact that I felt understood to a degree. Like, that's the one thing that got me back into a normal mindset, was that I felt so lost and so alone, because I feel like I'm the only one who gets this information to a weird level that I get it at. But when I was talking to the monk and I was explaining my issues and going over everything as far as like a teacher would, and part of my frustration is that I put out this teaching and then I ain't getting a reciprocation, not just from you guys, but like from my circles, from whoever, people want to hear what I have to say, but then that's all it is. It's only being heard. And that was part of the problem, is that I wanted action, I wanted something, and that's my battle. Like, I'm dealing with my own battles, and it's a small battle to deal with, and it would seem ridiculous as to why I let it get to me, and it is ridiculous. I can admit that now, but it was the simple fact of being understood is what got me out of my funk. That one simple thing. Like, and would I have known that? Did I know that going in there, that okay, I'm gonna go in here and be understood, so everything's gonna be better after that? I wouldn't have got that understood if I didn't go out on a limb and go try something new. And in my case, I research religion, but Buddhism is like I'm almost saving it for the end because I feel like I'm cycling in a weird way back to it. And I don't even think it's the go-to religion after I was talking to him, because I thought maybe that it would have something more to offer and something more along these lines of what I'm thinking, but I've come to understand that what I think is completely off than every other culture. Every culture has a piece of something, but they kind of go too far out into these other worlds for me. And it's almost like in my world, my explanation is a lot of logic and a lot of magic combined. So it's not one or the other, and more times than none, like the religions go on the magical end and they don't explain the logic end, or if they go on the logical end, they don't explain the magical end, and it's this weird cycle. So I want to start covering some more deep topics, and maybe it's already been deep for you, I don't know, but for me this is all basic information that I've been going through my entire life, and I'm barely starting to hit some of the surface points of the more deeper information. So we'll see. So know I'm here, and just know that I was ready to take on this mission, like as soon as I started it. Like even though I may be down and out, I knew going in that I had to have patience, like that this was going to be a major road to have to battle and a major accomplishment to overcome, because I'm battling my ego at the same time I'm talking about ego. Like it doesn't go away, it's non-stop with you forever. And even as I even know about the ego and being aware about the ego, it doesn't matter. Like it still takes over. Like it'll still find its power within. So don't let it. Figure out how to figure out the strengths and just move forward. Just take every step forward, move in that direction, and you'll see what happens. So thank you guys. Have a good rest of the day. I'm doing it for everybody. I don't even care. Thanks, guys.